Good morning. Y'all up? What y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Child, need to stretch real quick. I miss y'all. Wanted to come do a little FaceTime call with y'all. Talk about have a little rideshare ramble session. It'll be quick. I'm just parked waiting for my next, whichever I'm going to do. Am I going to deliver groceries or a person? Who knows? I'll be keeping both apps going at the same time, y'all. Speaking of time and life and so normally on the weekends, I don't deliver people. I'll either take the weekend off, or if not, if I have bonuses for like the other app that I do, I'll do that because it's quick. I ain't really got to talk to people except through text when they order, and that's it. But this weekend, I had initially had plans. We had like a couples meetup on Sunday. So I was like, well, let me go out Saturday, pick up a bonus. And I'll do a little bit of rideshare, driving people, just a little, because I'm going to be honest, y'all know I don't like talking to people normally anyway. And on the weekends, you be having families and with their kids and the car is full. And y'all know it's one thing, talk to people. People sitting up front next to me. Now, granted, if you have a lot of people in your party, yeah, absolutely. If you need to use the front seat, of course. And it's funny because they'll ask, like, is it okay if they sit up front? And I'm like, yeah, like if you have 3 people or 4 people, yeah, a person needs to sit up front. I have had people say, we'll sit on each other's laps. Not in this car, you're not. So I can get pulled over and get a ticket and possibly get deactivated off the app, all because you ain't want to order a bigger car. No, you won't be sitting on laps here. But I have had that happen. So if they have to sit up front, of course. What's weird to me is when you're by yourself and you want to jump up front. Why? So anyway, that's why I don't do weekends. Back when I was doing it heavy, like 2017, 2018, 2019, like the beginnings and stuff, weekends, I was like, yes, child, But anyway, so this weekend I decided to do some rides on Saturday. So, with the app, they show you, where you're going to pick up and where you're going to drop them off. So you can decide if you want to take the ride or whatever. So I instantly recognized the drop-off address as a hospital. When you've been driving long enough throughout different areas of Maryland, you kind of get to know, like, oh, I know this area, that's the hospital or whatever. So I pick her up. She lives in an apartment complex. And so she's on like the second floor. So I pick up. I didn't even wait literally 30 seconds, maybe 40, if that. Just so y'all know, I know with the rideshare app that starts with L that rhymes with whiffed, you get 5 minutes, because people always apologize to me when they take like 3 or 4 minutes. I'm sorry. Why my alarm go off? So rude, so nasty. But anyway, people will apologize and be like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, you got 5 minutes. I'm out here playing on my phone. So anyway, she gets in, and I already saw that she was going to like I said before I picked her up, she was going to the hospital. You don't know. I didn't know if she was going to work, going to visit. You just don't know. You just know that's their drop-off address. They could be going for anything. There's a bus stop also out there, so they could be using the hospital address, but sometimes they'll say you can drop me off at the bus stop. So I see her coming down the steps with a bag. So then in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe somebody's in the hospital and she's taking them clothes, socks, toothbrush, all that stuff. She gets in and she goes, I'm going to she gives me the name of the hospital. I'm going to this hospital emergency room. And I said, okay, got it. And we get in, I'm driving. She gets on the phone and she's talking regular. And then she's saying, they're asking me, do I want to save him? And I got to make a choice. And then she breaks down, like, y'all, the sob that she let out. And normally I can honestly say I'm good in those areas. Like when it comes to grief and death, I know how to, even with close family members of mine, I know how to, it's like a part of me just goes into automatic and locks away my emotions. So because I want to be a help or a strong shoulder for the person that's really affected by it. I've done it with, when I was in the room with my grandmother, and then my mom and my uncles were in there. I'm like, that was my mom too, even though it was my grandma, that was my mom, but this is their mom too, so but you lock those feelings away and you do that on your own time. For me, because I want to be able to be a comfort. That's what it is. Not a strong shoulder, a comfort to them. I did it when my father-in-law passed away. I was like, you will not cry in front of him, my husband, the family, until way after, until the funeral is over, because you just want people to know, hey, feel comforted, especially if you've never been in that direct position, right? You know how sometimes you'll have people falling all over themselves to let you know, I'm just as hurt by it as you. And it's like, y'all know what I mean, right? So normally I'm very, when it comes to that kind of stuff, but the way, like the sob that just, y'all, I had to hold myself together. I said, girl, you better not start crying. You can't be crying, and you the driver, right? Because it was just something about the hurt in her voice. I'm still not knowing who is in the hospital, but clearly it's somebody close to her, right? So I immediately start praying in my head. And I'm like, okay, I got to get her there faster. So then she says, it's crazy. Like, one day you're at work. Now she's on the phone, remember. One day you're at work fine. 1 minute you're at work fine. Like, it's crazy. 1 minute you're at work fine. And the next minute you're fighting, like, basically for your life. He was unconscious. So she had to make some type of decision. So the way that I was driving, it was coming up to a point where the road split. You can either go one way. You could take both ways to get there, but one is faster than the other, right? So she says, is it telling you to go straight or go, is it telling you to go right or go straight? I said, it's telling me to go right. She said, okay, good. And because she said she needed to get there. So I was like, so I said, I got you. Sit tight. I got you. And immediately when I said that, I started questioning myself. And I know it sounds stupid, but I was like, oh, I hope she don't think I meant sit tight, like stop talking. Because there are drivers who don't want passengers to tell them which way to go. Now, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes my passengers will be like, oh, you can take this way, this way. Y'all shortcuts don't be shortcutting. Especially if I've just driven down that road. I know there's traffic. I know there's this. I know there's that. But if you want to add an extra 7 or 8 minutes, cool. But let's be very clear. When people say, I can't speak for all drivers. For me, child, me making an extra 25, 30 cents off your ride by going 5 or 10 minutes longer. No, ma'am. I want you in my car, and I want to get you there safely and as quickly as possible so I can get on to the next ride. Anyway, so I was like, oh, man, I hope she don't think I meant like sit tight, don't say nothing. So she ends up hanging up her phone call. After she tells the person, she says, I called so-and-so to meet me there. I told the kids they got to be strong. I got to be strong. I need strong people around me. I can't call anybody that's basically going to fall apart because I'm trying to hold it together. So she hangs up, and I said, I hope you knew when I meant to sit tight. She was like, you meant you got me. And I was like, okay, good. I didn't want you to think no other way. And she was like, no. So then, y'all, I started moving. Y'all know I'm born and raised in Jersey. So I will switch gears. I call it my Jersey gear. Oh, no, we got to get through. We got to get there. Traffic got to pull up on 2 wheels. Because I know. Still me not knowing who it is, right? So then she says, yeah, my husband. They want me to make a choice. Like basically a choice about her husband. Whether to save him or not. She didn't go into detail. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if it's the emergency room, if you come in, of course you want to be safe. But who knows what the backstory could be behind it, right? But she was like, they want me to make a choice. So I called his brother. My husband's a triplet. The sister died. One of the triplets is gone. And then if her husband goes, it'll be just the brother. So then she starts like, and I had given her a tissue in between when she was on the phone. I had reached in the glove compartment. So then she's crying again, y'all. And I just wanted to hug her so badly. So I just like reached back and like went like this to her neck because she was like breaking down. But then she pulled it like right back together. And I don't mean like she should have pulled it together. I mean, she just, I guess going through emotions in your mind, like you have your moment and then you just like, okay, I got to deal with it. So I get her there. The crazy thing is with the app, you know how you can send messages to your driver? I think there's a delay in this particular app because number one, if y'all do send a message and we don't message you right back, it's because the app can sense when you're driving and when your car's not in park and it won't let you text back. So I would have to pull over to text you back. And then sometimes we don't get them until later. I would have known it was her husband in the beginning had the message came through. We're sitting right in front of the hospital at a light for me so I can pull into the parking lot. And all of a sudden up pops the message, and it's from her sister. So I don't even know her name. And it says, my sister is coming. Please be patient. Her husband is in the hospital. But I'm like, child, we here. We right across, we was already there. So I pull up, y'all, she's trying to get herself together. And I said, I just want you to know I'm praying for you. What's your husband's name? I'm going to send it out to my girlfriends. We're going to pray immediately. She tells me her husband's name, y'all. And then, so I turn around. I'm talking to her, and she looks at me, and she said, thank you so much. Like, thank you. And then she gets herself, and she goes, so I text my girlfriends right away. I'm on a chain of the couples group that I'm in, where the couples meet. I just text them and ask them to say a prayer. And then there's a part of me just wanted to, like, I wanted to go back and check, but like, it's been on my mind. Like, is he okay? I wanted to call the hospital, and I was like, I definitely can't. All I had was his first name, but I can't go back up there. That would be kind of weird, right? But all I could do was just pray that she had a good outcome. But that was just on my heart. Just life, like she said, he was at work fine, and now he was fighting for his life. So I pray that she had a good outcome. But it does, it shouldn't take for a catastrophic event or a big event or something happen to remember how precious life is. But let's be honest, we get so caught up in day-to-day and lifing. I know I do, that sometimes it does bring you back to reality. Like, it could be anybody, or people are leaving up out of here. Not just when I was growing up, it was the older people. Child, now older people are living to be older people, and young people are coming up out of here. So, are leaving up out of here. So it was just a reminder. And it was crazy is right after I dropped her off. My alarm is so disrespectful because I know I turned it off. It went off again. But what's crazy is I picked up another couple. I picked up a couple right after that. The woman gets in first. She was like, somebody else is coming. He's so mother effing slow. And then she gets out and she was like, men are just slow. And something, I forget now what else she said. She's like, you know what I mean? They just, or dumb or something like that. But then they get in and they're talking and laughing, and I was like, just the dichotomy of the situations, right? It's like, so anyway, that was crazy. So yeah, I'm just out here waiting on, I'm gonna either deliver people or groceries. But y'all see what's going on with Cardi and Crissle. I know it's what happened kind of sort of over the weekend. I listened to the read. For those of you that don't know, Crissle is a co-host on the Read podcast. I listened to the read, her and Kid Fury, and I found them back like in 2020, 2021. I listened, then I had stopped listening for a while, then I picked up again at the end or beginning of 2022. And I went back and listened to the episode from day one. So I caught up. I listened to all of it. So I'm a listener, a real listener, like every week for years with them. And, she had her opinions on Cardi. She says coming out of concern. I do think she was expressing a heavy level of disappointment that Cardi was pregnant, Cardi was touring, whatever. I get that. At the same time, those are our expectations for people. People have different expectations for themselves. And it was interesting to me because people are now saying Cardi is pregnant and she get ready to go on her tour. And some people are saying as if her career is over. I've literally heard people say that. And it's like, she has 3 kids, 4. Like, she can still do what she has to do as a mom, right? On one hand, people say moms can do anything. Moms are super women. But then they'll say, another baby, that's going to slow her down. And it may slow her down for a minute, and maybe it may take her a little bit longer, but that doesn't mean she can't do it. And when Halle Bailey got pregnant, I remember people saying, this was just the start of her career. She was just getting ready to do this, get ready to do that. And the read was very in defense of her, like, just because women have babies and this and that doesn't mean they can't do. And then now here's Cardi, who already has a name for herself. She's just having another baby, and people, and it was kind of like, y'all aren't defending her. You know what I mean? And not that she needs a defense, but I don't know. When I heard Crissle's read of her, I just was kind of like, ooh, ouch. But that was her opinion. I know how to, that sun is bright. Whatever. I think Cardi's response was really classy. And I think she made a lot of sense in her response. I said, good for you, Cardi. Really good for you. Because, woof, it was a lot. But, you know, people have their own thoughts. But if y'all listened to Crissle and then listen to Cardi's response and then listen to Crissle's response. Now, Crissle's response, I said, no, okay, Miss Ma'am. When she said, for those of y'all that are saying, I'm a therapist, I shouldn't be speaking like that. I'm not a therapist. I make more than they do doing what I do. I said, all right, Miss Mamas. Cool. It's what, you know, at the end of the day, she had her thoughts on Cardi. Did it come out a little harshly to me? I'm not sensitive. But I'm also not the person. I'm not sensitive hearing other people talk. When it comes to myself, I can be. Let's be clear, right? But for me, I was just kind of like, oh, wow, she really feel a type of way about it. But at the end of the day, it's like, this is Cardi's life. I wish her babies, nothing but health, prosperity, success, happiness. And I hope that Cardi feels fulfilled in all areas of her life. And I'm going to continue to root for her. Y'all have made me want to download her album, though. I said it, I think, on my video on Saturday or Sunday. I want to download her album now. Because y'all have really been going up for it, so I'm going to download it. Y'all, Jimmy Kimmel is back. I said, come on, Jimmy. Jimmy is back. I mean, I guess Disney losing $4 billion. I wonder, like, was it 4 billion people that canceled? Well, no, because I was going to say, they need to all send me $1. But no, for real, shout out to Jimmy coming back. My thing was, I don't think, for me, it wasn't like Jimmy, I don't think he did anything wrong. And people are trying to rectify a situation with someone who, again, I feel like he didn't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? What he said was the truth. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't speak about the man, I ain't gonna say his name, the man that was taken up out of here and gone to well, we don't know if he went to glory. So now, but what I hope is that he comes back and he's still himself. He doesn't have to censor himself, which to me, I kind of find that, I hope that he's not that type. Like, I hope he'll come back and still do his show the way he's been doing his show. Because if he had to compromise on some things, then what's going to be the next compromise? Then they're just going to keep doing stuff. You know what I mean? So shout out to Jimmy for getting his show back. Y'all, I'll be wanting to come down here and get a bit more into the things that are going on. But when it comes to the current administration, even hearing his voice sometimes sparks a rage in me. And for my own mental health, and to not want to feel, I'm going to be honest, like destructive, like I want to tear some stuff up, I need to be very careful about what I take in. I need to stay on top of what's going on, but I still need to be careful about what I'm taking in, because y'all, it's just, I don't know, like, I wasn't like that before, but now literally it sparks a rage in me. So I'm trying to be mindful of that and be mindful of my peace. Speaking of being mindful, I hope that y'all have a wonderful Tuesday. Y'all remember just to keep going. Sometimes we want to either give up or say, this is never going to happen. Remember, your blessing can come from any way. It may not necessarily come the way you were thinking that it would come, but just keep holding on. Keep the faith, y'all, and it will come. We are in this together. I love y'all. Hopefully, I'll be back later on today. Salt Lake City coming on tonight. Y'all pray for me that I don't get no... y'all just pray for me with the people. I just dropped a man off who told me he just got kicked off the bus. I said, for what? I sure did, because you in here. And I'm not trying to have to fight. But it was something minor. At least that's what he told me. And our ride went great, so... you know, what have you. But anyway, y'all, I love y'all. I just wanted to come FaceTime y'all, talk to y'all, and I will talk to y'all later. See ya.